Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on Chess.com's Tactics Trainer, and I'm going to go through 3 puzzles and simply share my thoughts along the way. So, we're playing as white in this first one, and I imagine we can win. Oh, I just spotted the idea. Fortunately for me, a puzzle that I went through just a little while back, just the other day really, is helping me out with this one. We have this idea where we can give a check on a8, and on king takes a8, rook a6 is mate. This is the idea that I saw just the other day. This is not the only option, but of course one of the options is king takes rook. We would give mate as the follow-up. The only other option after rook a8 is queen takes a8, and then we're in a position to relocate our rook to... I don't know that it really would matter. I believe we could go to b3, b2, or b1 with the idea of playing to a3 for mate. I don't see how black stops that. So I'm pretty sure this is the idea. To first give this check, we know the queen has to take, otherwise we have mate. So I'm just trying to work out now, is there a difference between these three posts? b3, b2, b1. Notice with the queen on the corner after the rook plays to, let's say, b3, there isn't a good queen move that would give check and disrupt our king's post. So is there a difference after the black queen is here and we're no longer playing with this guy? Rook b3. Rook b2. Oh, there is a difference with b2, because the queen could play back to d5 and defend against rook a2. So I'm eliminating b2 of these three. So now it's down to b3 and b1. Is there a difference there? Well, there is a difference, actually, because on b1, there is queen to h8, stopping rook a1. So therefore, it's going to be rook to b3. This would have been my first thought of these three. Well, it was my first thought because this pawn masks the queen from defending a3 along this diagonal. So it must be b3. Rook a8, queen takes rook, and then rook to b3, and there's no stopping this rook a3 move for long. Okay, let's put it on board. Rook sacrifice. I have my sounds on. Let's take care of that. b3 is the key move, and then we're going to scoop up the queen. Is this going to be played out further and they're going to test us how we hunt down this pawn? I don't think so. Yeah, it should just be puzzle solved. It wouldn't really be anything close if I'm to just bring it up, this final position. This was the starting position, so where are we at? Rook b3, king here. If it was to play out, we'd get our king involved. And just the rook right behind. And it's going to take forever. And we're going to be there in time to track this pawn down. Okay, let's try puzzle number 2. I kind of lucked out with this first one, seeing this idea recently with the rook sacrifice. Okay. Playing as black, and we are in check. Okay, we have 3 options. King e7 and bishop or rook captures on d7. How are we doing material-wise? We're balanced completely. Okay. It's worth noting that we have some pressure on this rook, so normally a move like this would be something to shy away from, at first glance at least, because of a knight move with the discovered check, but king e7, a knight move, we could just take the rook. And... Yeah, it's probably that. Because if we take with the rook, well, we're going to be losing some material. Knight takes. And if we take with the bishop, maybe we could do that. Let's consider. I'm going to look at this one first. It's more forceful. Captures a piece. Bishop takes knight. If rook takes bishop, we would then have bishop takes knight, removing the defender of the rook, and on rook takes rook, bishop takes rook, and in the end we're up a minor piece. Therefore, bishop takes knight, knight takes, and then, maybe only at that point, do we play king here. The rook is under fire, and so too is the knight on d7. I think it's important to first eliminate one of the knights. And quite possibly the reason for this is because on king e7 immediately, with there being a knight on f6, there's knight g8. Well, and that's one of the moves to calculate. There's knight g8 check as well as knight to d5. I'm going to say that it's just this. It seems a lot cleaner. Just eliminate a piece, knight takes, king here, and I don't see what the good move is. The rook is under fire, the knight's under fire. I don't see any problem with just grabbing the knight. And now we just grab the knight here and defend our rook. And we're going to be up a minor piece. Okay, not too bad for number 2. Let's try one more, where we are playing as black, and I feel like we should be giving mate somehow. This has my attention. We're controlling a lot of the squares around the white king, and we are opposite the queen, who's unprotected, so this may play a role. I actually think I know what opening this came from. Like, some 4 knights opening. Yeah, I think like the knight f3 to g5 stuff and d5 was played. White was really quick to converge on f7, and then there was a retreat. Anyhow, I don't have the exact moves, but I'm pretty sure king pawn opening 4 knights, knight g5 stuff is where this came from. So what should we do here? If it's white to move, they don't have a good check. Any bishop move is threatening queen f2 mate. This is something I imagine. The king is quite secure if there's a check here, but other than that, I don't see how else to really disrupt the king position beyond the f2 square. So there's this check immediately, there's queen f2. If move 1 is a bishop move, wouldn't white just have time to play rook f1 and defend against f2? What would be our follow-up after that? Suppose, I don't know, bishop b6. It's not very forcing, I don't think at least. It opens up f2, rook f1, now what? I don't see it. I wonder if we could do something like rook g1. This would interfere with rook f1, or excuse me, bishop g1 would interfere with rook f1. But bishop g1, there's rook takes. And if we give check on f2, there's now a new square for the king as soon as the rook moves. Okay. Is there a way that we could get the king in a position where we could make a knight move and pick up the queen? Like a check on g5. I don't know. It's kind of tough to force the king to f1. I mean, we could give this check king f1, but then what are we doing there? Would it really be a quiet move on move 2? Queen g5, king f1, queen f4, threatening knight g3, threatening knight d2 with check, as well as a bishop move, looking to get to f2 next. That may be it. I have some concern, though, even over the variation with queen g5, king f3. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing there. Queen f4, king back to g2. What are we doing if the king is on g2 and our queen is on f4? I'm struggling to find some other candidate moves besides queen g5, to be honest. I don't think it's a bishop move on move 1. It needs to be something tied in with this unprotected piece on a4. How can we make that happen? I don't see it. g3, there's nothing really happening on g3. We have a few pieces. It's one of those intersection squares, but I don't see how we could really make use of that. I don't see how this knight contributes either rook. It's got to be one of these three. The king position, looking for mate, and something with the queen. How are we doing material-wise? I didn't even take a body count here. 4, 5, 6. Even. Let's revisit this. Queen g5 and king f3. I think the answer would be after king f1, king g5, queen g5, king f1, queen f4 is pretty convincing. Although, I mean, white could revisit this king g2 move. So I need to figure out what to do if we have this same exact position but with the queen on f4. What would black's move be? Because we could get exactly that in 2 moves. What would we do there? Would bishop g1 work in that position? I don't think so. Still not seeing what the story would be after rook takes bishop. So what? We give a check on f2. The king goes to the corner. Would there be a quiet move in that position with queen takes bishop looking at knight f2? Maybe. Maybe that's it. And bishop g1. On move 1. Rook takes, queen f2, king h1, and then we pick up the bishop. Threatening knight f2 check, and then a knight move with the discovered check. Oh, you know what we're even threatening maybe? In some cases, with the queen on e2, we're threatening a check on f3, rook block, knight f2 check, king g1, knight h3 check, king h1, queen f3. We are threatening mate after we take that bishop in this position here. Bishop g1, rook takes, queen f2, king in the corner, queen takes bishop. We're threatening a mate in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How would white parry that? We don't have to worry about any of these guys. Just not helping at all. So we can't afford a quiet move, in other words. Bishop g1, rook takes. Basically just this move to be assured we can get to f2 next to stop rook f1. So with our queen on e2, how would white parry our threat of going into f2. Queen here is not a bother, because we just go to f2 and defend. And I don't see how the queen actually helps out in defending against these mate threats. The rook could step up to g2, but it's still going to be a mate. We can revisit f1, force rook g1, and then get back to this f3, queen f3, knight f2, knight h3, queen f1, queen g1 stuff. I think this is it. It is. Queen f2, and it's important to recognize that we can get to this point here where it's going to be mate soon. Yeah. So white has to give up the queen. There wasn't a defense to the knight and queen going after the white king in that final position. That was tricky. This first position, king g2. Yeah, this seems like it's the only thing. Take the bishop, and now, just to illustrate, I mean, I don't even know what to do with the white queen. Just to show the mating idea. Rook is pinned, that's a check. And then we got this stuff. That wasn't even the only one. We have our pick. We could go here for mate. Queen-knight tandem is super strong. Have to give up the queen here to stop mate. There's no way to provide a new square for the white king. Yeah, this is really strong. Knight on e5. Queen here looking to get on the diagonal. Strong combination of pieces here. Okay. Interesting group of 3. Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.